Well, happy August 1st. Thought I would come out and do a little garden tour. I'm in the front garden or the kitchen garden on the north side of the house. Got my queen lime zinnias. These tomatoes aren't doing so great. They're cherry tomato. I do have some, but I'm kind of just letting them go wild. I just wanted to grow something in this barrel with my basil. So I figured it needed a companion. My oregano's doing wonderful. I have to come out and probably do some harvesting because it looks like it's starting to flower. So I want to harvest some and dry that for winter. Oh, look at this oregano flower. The nasturtium is done for the season. It's a little hot. This green stalk dries out really quickly because it's getting a lot of sun, so I'll be rearranging some things for next year. But I do have a little Kajari melon, so we'll see. It's actually planted in the green stalk over there. And then this pepper plant that was just about decimated by pill bugs actually has a pepper on it. Shishito pepper. And a lot of other flowers. So it's doing well. The mustard is just hanging out. I mostly grew the mustard for mustard seed, which is funny because the stuff you buy in the store is like a big, kind of a white seed. These, at least the other plant I harvested, were still really super small, so I'm going to let these go a little longer. And I'm drying out the other ones, and nothing else, I'll just plant more mustard because mustard grows really well here during the summer. And I believe it's a trap crop. In the bigger garden, it helped keep, I think, some things away from my stuff in the beginning. So, our lovely propane tank. But right now, everything's in shade, even though, whoa, hello, I just walked through a spider web. Okay, we're going to go around the other way. Big spider webs here in Oklahoma. Okay, so here's green stalk number 2. It's got some amaranth just starting to bloom. It's just really pretty. I had done the red before it. I did the brown this time, and I kind of like the red better, but it's supposed to drape over and... Oh, hummingbird. I'm sorry, hummingbird. I gotta change your food out. I know. The ants got it. But I bought these at the farmer's market, and it is called the toothache plant. And apparently, if you chew on the little flowers or the leaves, it will numb your mouth when you have tooth pain. We'll see. I thought they were cute, and so I put them over here. And then this is a potato I put in the green stalk, and it's blooming. So I think that means it's growing potatoes down there. And that's just a weed. Growing with the Boston pickle. What? I don't even remember. I thought this died. Huh. Interesting. Well, you just never know what happens out in your garden when you have a big garden like this. I am so grateful. Got some dill down there sort of hanging out. Doesn't like the heat very much, so I'm sure it'll come back better. And there's the other part of the potato. And then green stalk number 3. I bought fig trees at the farmer's market last weekend. They're kind of more like bushes than actual trees. And so I up-potted them, and they're eventually going to go on the other side of this fence where I've been trying to make a bed, a planting bed, but it's taken over by weeds again. So for this fall, that's where the fig trees are going to go, and they're supposed to live through the winter without a problem. My lemon tree's doing really well. Not sure what I'm going to do with it over the winter. I think I'm going to tuck that container in amongst the green stalks, maybe move everything around so it's protected, and leave it outside, I think is my strategy, because I think if I take it inside, it's too drastic of a temperature change. And it really didn't like being inside when I had my other lemon tree for the winter. And then, oh, my dill is blooming. Look at that. Isn't that cool looking? And this is basil. This is beautiful. Oops, we don't want it to flower though. I gotta come out here. Oh, it smells so good. But those seeds are so cool. I'm so excited because now I can save seeds. And this is my purple basil. I don't know if you have the light. Here we go. It's really pretty. So this green stalk's doing really well. It gets shade in the morning, sun in the afternoon, and the pockets are deep enough that it's not drying out too bad, even though it's the smaller pocket. So even the amaranth is happy. So I'm learning what is growing well in the green stalks here in Oklahoma, and it's my strawberries not doing so great. But you know what? Oh, this one's doing pretty well. I got like 2 or 3 little strawberries in the spring. My goal was to have this whole thing strawberries, but I wanted to see what would grow well on the side of the house. But now we don't really have partial shade. We're hoping to put up an actual permanent shade, real basic shade structure over here. But that may be a year or more. So my shishito peppers over here that I thought were super stunted, they're coming to life. They're happy. And my lamb's ear, I have some creeping thyme over there. I always forget what that's called. My plum baptista from Sunflower Steve. It's either the plum or the purple. All the tags are gone at this point. But out of all the seeds, well, I had like 20 starts. I think I've got about 8 that have survived. So, you know, it's kind of... But they're supposed to keep coming back. So the goal was to plant perennials. And I'm going to get the one in a container planted in another spot. I've been planting them all over the homestead. This is cinnamon basil. It's doing really well in this bucket, this cloth bucket with my, I don't even know what type of pepper it is. I know the tag is in there somewhere, but it's doing really well. Super happy. My lavender that I started from seed. I've already planted one plant in the ground in the backyard. This is a weed. And these 2 are going to get in the ground somewhere, probably one back here and one somewhere else, just because I think my strategy has been to plant multiples of things in different places, see what spots they like the best. And then I have a bucket of 3 pepper plants that these peppers were in that green stalk that was getting super dried out, and they were really stressed and they weren't really growing. And now it's been, even with the heat and the transplant, I've been trying to keep them in the shade about half the day, and they're finally responding. I've been giving them some little bit of fertilizer, and I think it's 3 different types of pepper plants, but at this point the tag's faded, so I don't know. My rosemary seems happy. I got that in the ground, and I have another artichoke coming up. So my goal for that front area is to do fig trees and artichokes to make like a border that you see from the road, or, you know, when you come in. This whole compost area is going away due to the fact that A, we're going to put a shade structure out here, and B, it's just not working there. That's a shady area. Compost should be in the sun, and I want that shady side for my green stalks because it gets shade in the afternoon when it's super hot. So other than that, this backyard's kind of a mess, and this is the way we've been weighting down the shade structure. Thank you, Grandma Judy. This is a nice shade structure. And I have my table for butchering Frankie. We're getting closer. We're going to get a couple poles up that are going to be the start of the shade structure, but because I need somewhere to hang my cone, my killing cone, and I'm going to test my butchering skills. So I'm going to take you through the backyard. Yeah, we've done nothing with the tree. We actually did talk to a tree company. They're going to take out the front tree that's very similar to that tree that just fell. And we are going to have them mulch all that stuff up for us so we don't have to do it. I'm just going to pay somebody. It'll be faster. They will have bigger equipment. There's a back door. That's where eventually we're going to have a little patio too. But that's going to be a year or so. Everything takes time. Everything we're doing right now is pretty much like stuff that, you know, is low cost or no cost. We can source materials that are not very expensive. Hi, doggers. Hi. So my blackberries over here are a little sad. I think it's just the time of year. I do need to probably give them a little more water. And I need to fertilize them and get all those weeds out and figure out. But I mean, I got to fix this whole area. But it's a start. And by next spring, early summer, I expect to have a pretty good crop of blackberries. And I won't have to go to the Blackberry Festival to buy blackberries. So, the garden is definitely in the dog days of summer, but these arches have been wonderful for growing the beans. Oh my gosh, I gotta come out here and pick stuff. I haven't picked anything in the last couple days. It's been so hot. I've just been coming out here watering and getting the heck out. So we'll start with the I guess you call it the west side of the garden. So I put up this shade structure or this what do you call it, sail. But I got tomatoes here. I'm distracted and show you tomatoes. These are looking pretty good. I need to pick, I pick them when they're not quite ripe because otherwise critters get them. So it has slipped downward, but I have a trellis in the middle for the tomatoes that's kind of holding it up. So these tomatoes have been doing quite a bit better being shaded versus the tomatoes over there, which are not shaded. I've been cutting off a lot of dead stuff. They're kind of stunted. They're, you know, just tired. It's hot. Even the cherry tomato plant, but it is sprawling. So I have this volunteer gourd plant that came from seeds that dropped from last year. There's one of them right there. So I think they're called wine bottle gourds. I planted more sunflowers here in the spot where the big ones fell over. As you can see, my tower of sunflowers is kind of fading. But the gourds are climbing up the sunflowers. So I'm just calling it my sunflower hedge. And it actually does, when you walk around the side here in the afternoons. Right now the shade is obviously, but you can noticeably tell a difference of how much cooler it is standing over here in this little hedge area. And the sunflowers in the corner too are just, the birds are loving it. Oh, this tomato plant's doing pretty good. But you can see where something munches it. See that tomato? Just literally bites taken out of it. So I need to get my baskets, do some harvesting. So this row's pretty wild. I do need to do some cleanup in here. These sunflowers are about done. So I plan on using a couple of rows. I'm going to try covering again for possibly like spinach and stuff. but I am also doing another experimental, we'll call it submerged greenhouse. It's not really going to be a greenhouse, but I'll explain. My comfrey and basil doing really well. So excited. My comfrey, I think it will multiply enough, hopefully, that in the spring I can divide it and start putting more up by the fruit trees. Because I have one plant up there that I had to water it yesterday because it was really dry, but it was surviving. And my cherry tomato volunteer is got quite a bit of hornworm damage, but bringing me lots of tomatoes. This is the zucchini plant I planted after the initial invasion of squash bugs. Probably about a month ago, put seeds in the ground or in the bucket. And so I did get a couple small zucchini. There are bugs on it, but it's surviving versus some of the other squash plants that literally didn't even survive past, getting their first flower. So these have lots of tomatoes. They don't look great. They're a little sad. But we got tomatoes in here. There's some have some damage on them, but I just cut that away and I've been making sauces. And so now these tomatoes look kind of weird because they are on that dead stem, so I'll probably get rid of those. I just throw the green tomatoes out in the field. Figure something might want to eat them, or they'll just decompose. And so this tomato plant's doing better now that I put straw down for mulch, because it's on the end here and it gets really dried out. Because the fact that all the buckets are right next to each other, I think does help the middle plants. And my beans are coming back. My cannellini, the little white beans. So you grow them, let them kind of dry on the vine, and then pick them, and then of course shell them. So this is my first experiment with that. And all I'm going to say is, if I'm going to actually have beans for the winter, I would have to plant like all these buckets with beans. So like the whole trellis would have to be just beans if I wanted to actually have beans to store for winter time. So just to give you an idea, it's okay though. If I have enough for 1 or 2 meals, I'm going to be very excited, because no matter what, it's offsetting our grocery bill. No matter what. And we're getting fresh vegetables. Here's another zucchini plant I planted about a month ago. It's a different variety. And it's flowering. So as you can see, it's not nearly as happy as the other one. I think probably this was the garlic bed. Maybe the soil is not as rich because all the garlic grew. But I did plant more sunflowers here, and I mended the soil with a little bit of mulch, and I plan on putting more mulch down and giving it some good chicken manure before I plant garlic in the fall. So I need to do that probably in the next few days. Probably this weekend. So this squash plant, it's hanging out. It's so weird. It's acorn squash, so it gives me these little green ones, which are totally edible now. But then you get the giant green ones, and I just discovered that one yesterday. But the shell is really hard, so they didn't taste so great. Like the rind was really hard when I sauteed them. So my tromboncino, only the second one, and I don't know, everything just started dying the other day. So I think a bug got it. But you know what? It's okay, because I have enough. See, there's another squash right down there. We have had plenty of squash. There's another green one. So I've been picking the little green ones because they're pretty good. So it's funny. Some are just the light green, and some are dark green immediately as soon as they emerge. So maybe it's 2 different plants. I don't know. I put a lot of seeds down there because nothing was coming up. Of course, everything came up. So I finally mowed this area here yesterday, since the plant was dying, And I'm going to get something like some more, I don't know if I need more beans. I've got a lot of beans, but I want to plant something on this side of the trellis for fall. Something that will maybe grow up the trellis. This tomato plant was kind of an experiment because I just had extra tomato plants. And yeah, he's not too happy in this little container all the way out here by himself. Pretty stressed out and struggling pretty much the whole time. I've gotten a couple tomatoes. There's one more down there. So, you know, he'll probably be one of the first ones to go. I just wanted to, I was running out of space because I want to put, when those perennial bushes get big enough, I would like to put one on each side of the trellis about a couple feet out to give give like an entrance to the garden. So we'll see. That's in the future when those plants get bigger, because right now I can't put them out here. They get eaten up by crabgrass. My asparagus is doing wonderfully. I'm so excited because in the spring we're going to have fresh asparagus and it's going to multiply, because look at all these little seedling ball things. All those are seeds. We still have stems that are coming up. And it's wonderful. So I've got to weed this bed. Oh, and I have a cantaloupe. Shh. I need to pick that before something gets it. I think it's ripe. I'm talking, whispering something. Critters don't hear me. But I have a few. This poor plant was so wilted yesterday. It was 106. So, but I got a couple more cantaloupes in there. So we'll see. Those gourds are actually from last year. They grew in the cement block and I couldn't get them out. So they're just decoration. So, first successful cantaloupe growing ever. Oh, look, there's nothing right there. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm so excited. And this is buckwheat, which I'm not growing for actual buckwheat, but it fertilizes the soil. So essentially, every time I see the seeds where it comes up, and I don't see any because it's just now flowering, but every time it flowers and puts out seeds, I grab a handful of seeds and I put them somewhere else in the garden. So those actually were planted from the ones I originally planted. So I saved seeds from Sacramento, brought them here, put them in the soil, grew plants, and now I'm spreading those seeds around, and that just makes me so happy. This is my lovely zinnia plant, my big success. This bucket of ants had sunflowers. I just whacked back all the sunflowers that had bugs all over them, but still got the basil. And I think, I haven't dug down there, but I'm thinking I can use that soil now. I think the ants might be gone, but we'll see. Shh, don't know. Don't let them hear me. And then over here, under the shade of the zinnia, is a bunch of pepper plants. That one's not getting enough water or something. He's really dry, so I gotta water him more. But look, he's got a pepper. So the dahlias are not happy. They don't like it here. Too hot. Not sure what the deal is. So yeah, I put these in full sun because that's what it said. But I think if I buy more dahlias, they're gonna go in part shade. Because these peppers are pretty stressed. It's pretty hot, but I think I just need to get some straw over here because I miss this area. Get some fertilizer and some mulch. And I have an artichoke plant down in there, so my plan is to move that other artichoke plant over here since it's the least weedy area, and then this whole bed has to, it's a mess. It's a big fat mess. But I've been at least trying to get the edges with grass clippings to start, defining from the actual prairie. As you can see, all of my cardboard and mulch is pretty much grass now. Like I just mowed yesterday. I have to mow with a little mower. It's fine, but it's not ideal. I would love to have this eventually not be grass because it grows tall very quickly. This is some of that holy basil, I believe, which is kind of interesting. It has little tiny leaves and it definitely smells different. It's more medicinal. So I guess that's what I'm supposed to dry for, again, medicinal purposes. I don't know. I've been making basil tea and drying it for cooking because that's my favorite thing to do with basil. And basil tea is so easy and really yummy, refreshing, has a lot of good vitamins in it. And I got some sunflower little guys coming up over here. This is, again, I don't know, I think this is watermelon, but I'm not sure. Again, in desperation, about a month ago, I planted a whole bunch of, not pumpkin, but I planted some fruit, squash and all that, hoping that I got past the bug life cycle. And then these beans are just wonderful. Once you snap them and cook them, they're just like green beans. But for some reason, green beans didn't want to grow here. These want to grow. And they make a beautiful trellis. So that's the garden, people. And I'm so grateful that it's a cooler day. And I can come out here and get some work done. Happy day, people.